Hello, my name is Sampurna and I'm starting this channel because I feel that I owe it to a couple of YouTube channels that helped me out during a time that I didn't know what to do with myself. I am a fellow sufferer of anxiety, and even though I have crossed the stage of massive, all-encompassing anxiety that kind of makes you feel like you're dying, even though I'm not there right now, I've been there. I've been there for quite some time. I've stayed there. And it's not been the coolest experience of my life. So I wanted to talk about my journey of dealing with anxiety, coping mechanisms that I learned through years of therapy, and deep conversations with some of my very dear friends who helped me out during this extremely excruciating time of my life. The light switched off. I'm still gonna continue because I don't know what to do about it. My husband does. Now, to go back to the factor of anxiety and why it's such an important thing in my life that I'm like making a channel about that challenging time. It literally took over my life. I did realize that I have some sort of disorder from the age of 16 or 17 itself. However, I have to be very honest with you that I did not know what was exactly going wrong with me mentally. There could have been multiple things, I'm sure, but I was just concentrating on the fact that there must be a lot of stress at college, there must be a lot of stress at work, a lot of things to prove to certain individuals, make a name for myself, and make a space for myself in the industry I'm working in. By the way, I'm a marketing professional currently, and I work with everything to do with social media, PR, all kinds of marketing campaigns and stuff like that, right? And most of my time online is on social media channels, YouTube. I mean, more than half of my life I have given to these places because I love watching content. I love consuming it. I love creating from it and stuff like that. But a lot of people would tell you that you should not make your hobby or your interest into your profession because it simply takes away the joy and the passion out of your interest. That activity feels like a job after a while because it literally is your job at that point. And a lot of people will tell you that. But in my personal opinion and in my personal case, it did not become something of that sort. I must tell you that I think I took a very right decision of getting into this because it comes very naturally to me. It's organic, as they say, right? It's just a part of me. Social media, understanding of how it all works and what's working, what's trending. All of these things are very common knowledge to me because I've spent so many years. I've spent like nights together till 4 a.m. just watching content on the internet, and it kind of gives you an idea of what works, what doesn't. So for me, it turned out to be a good decision that I went into marketing, and things changed from there. Why I mentioned my profession, there's a reason. Till then, I was just a content writer, copywriting roles, and I was like doing website content and freelancing and all of that, right? But there was no particular industry that I was like stably into. Later, I went into e-commerce and I wrote for them. I like literally did communication specialist ka role and stuff like that. And then when marketing landed in my kitty, I realized इसमें तो मुझे कुछ काम करना ही नहीं पड़ रहा है. It's just like that chapter in your, exam जिसका आपको पढ़ना ही नहीं पड़ता because इतनी easily आपको समझ आ जाता है. It was something like that for me. And during this time, I was suffering from the max level of anxiety where I felt I'm going to die if I don't see a specialist for it. And this was 2020, COVID, peak COVID. A lot of things were going on in the home front. I was just locked in for 2 years inside the house, and बहुत ख्याल आते हैं आपको. It was an overwhelming phase of my life. There was a lot of things going on in the family in terms of health and medical issues and stuff like that. And the constant fear of losing someone, right? उन सब से जाते हुए, and that phase of changing of my job into this marketing thing, it was a very difficult journey through which my therapist helped me. My therapist told me, go for job interviews, do it this way, you can do it, there's coping mechanisms, you can utilize those. She was literally changing my self-belief and who I am as a person, my self-concept, every single day. She was breaking it down for me कि ये आपको लगता है because ये आपके साथ हुआ था. She was doing match the following within my life. And I was like, bro, why didn't I think of these things? I'm not going to say I'm the most intelligent person, but I'm pretty smart. I can kind of, link things, I'm sure. I can connect things. And it was a very difficult time in my life. That's all I can say. So from then on, I realized that there's so much that can be done if you, in the individual watching this right now, feels any of these. These are symptoms, guys. Frozen palms, sweating suddenly, your forehead becoming warm, feeling like you're getting fever all of a sudden. The churning in the stomach is a very common sign that you're nervous and stressed. Then shivering in public if you have to give a talk or you have to introduce yourself, things like that. Let me give you an example, something that I vividly remember from my Flipkart days. I was already like 1 or 2 years in the organization, I guess. So I was already working there for quite some time. I didn't have to be scared. I knew most of the people. But there was a meeting where some of the authorities, leaders, asked us to all gather inside a room. There were some 30 people within the room, and we were asked to introduce ourselves and what we do and kind of where we come from and stuff like that, the basic usuals. And it started going one at a time. And as it started approaching me, I felt like I'm going to drop dead in that particular room. I felt like mere se nahi hoga, even though my communication skills were pretty okay, decent. But and the person that we were presenting ourselves to didn't have the best communication skills. Now that I think back at it, I'm like, इनसे तो मुझे insecurity होने की कोई ज़रूरत थी नहीं, पर उनसे भी हो रही है. मतलब I'm just the worst is what I'm thinking. And I literally felt like I'm frozen all over. Face से जो एक light होती है face में आपकी, वो चली गई है. It's gone like that. And I'm feeling pale. I'm feeling like I'm choking. पूरा dry हो गया है मेरा throat. And I feel like I'm going to puke. Everything is happening at once to this one person in the room. I literally jolted out of the room, telling my manager, I just need to go to the washroom and come back. And I stayed in that washroom for a good half an hour because I knew that my turn would come. I switched off my phone so my colleagues couldn't call me and ask me to come there because my turn was coming. And I just stayed there because I knew that was the safest space for me at that point. I'm speaking about it in a very casual manner now. I'm like, because it's quite dated, but it was one of the most terrifying experiences for me. That was a day I knew something was really wrong with me. This cannot go on. I cannot hide. I cannot escape every chance I get. That's not how I can live life. Filled with a lot of therapy, with a lot of understanding of myself, and mind you, medication. I know a lot of people think taking medication उससे आपको क्या हो जाता है, dependence हो जाता है, ये वो. Might be true, I don't know, but the moment I started taking medication and felt the change that it brought about in me, I have never gone back. I'm still on medication, and I look back at the times where I suffered like a dog that's been like knocked out on the street by a bloody lorry, and how I was crying myself to sleep, waking up crying, like to go to work I used to cry. Utke I'm crying, I'm going to the shower, I'm crying everywhere. And nobody can understand my pain, nobody can help me with my pain, and I have to deal with all of this alone. I was feeling like there's no help available for this. ये तो मेरी ही प्रॉब्लम है, it's innate to me and I have to fix it myself, or there is no solution, ऐसे ही मरो. This was my condition back then. And when I look back and see कि भाई मुझे पता था कि तुम दवाई ले सकते हो इसके लिए और मैंने लिया नहीं, I feel so sorry for myself for being so stupid. When I look at the difference between that person and who I am today, I feel like I have taken away years of my life from myself. I could have done so well in my life. I could have been a jolly, happy person. सब कुछ ले लिया मैंने खुद से. 2 साल तो मेरे वैसे ही गए उस टाइम पे. Did I do the right thing by me? No, I did not. And I feel taking help is the smartest and the wisest thing one can do. And thinking that I'm cool enough to fix it myself after suffering for years is borderline stupidity, in my opinion. Might be controversial opinion, might be disappointing to a lot of people, but if you haven't been able to fix it already, you do need help. And taking that help, I understand, requires finance. पैसे लगते हैं थेरेपी के, फ्री में नहीं आते. लेकिन उसका जो ROI है, जो रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट है, उसका कोई कंपैरिजन नहीं है. आप लाइफ में ज़ारा के कपड़े खरीद लोगे, आप यहाँ से गुची का बैग ले लोगे, उन सब में आप ये खर्चे कर रहे हो, वो आपको फालतू के खर्चे नहीं लग रहे हैं. लेकिन 1000 रुपए देके एक थेरेपिस्ट से बात करने में आप कतरा रहे हो. यू आर टेलिंग योर सेल्फ दैट दैट्स अ लॉस्ट, cash flow. You're lying to yourself, dude. You're lying to yourself. You're putting yourself through so much pain, hurt, and that's the worst thing a person can do for themselves, to themselves. I mean, इतनी बात होती है इंटरनेट पे, जेनरेशनल ट्रॉमा ब्रेक करो, ये करो. अरे पहले खुद का तो ट्रॉमा ब्रेक कर लो, उसको तो नॉर्मली देख लो. डोंट let somebody else tell you what is right for you. Figure this out yourself. If you see that there is nothing that's working for you, bro, go to therapy, please. I basically beg people to go to therapy. And another thing, disclaimer that I want to put. I have friends whom I have literally pushed to go for therapy because I have seen them like break down in public. I have seen them suffering, having the same symptoms that I did. And I thought that this would help. And I used to push them to go for therapy. But I have also noticed that the same therapist is not going to work for all. तो ये मत करना कि एक थेरेपिस्ट को दिखाया, 1-2 सेशंस हुए, नहीं चला, आपकी बात उनको समझ नहीं आ रहा है या वो कनेक्शन नहीं बैठ रहा है तो मैंने छोड़ दिया. ये मत करो. Give it another try. Give it another try. I have heard people have gone to 7 therapists and the 7th therapist has worked for them and it has changed their lives. Now imagine if that person stopped at the 6th or didn't go to the 2nd even. These are opportunities that you take. Some of them are going to work for you, some won't. But that doesn't mean therapy doesn't work. It's just the therapist who's not working for you. So you have to find somebody who suits your needs, understands your issue, is known for your specialized issue, and be honest with them from the get-go. Tell them your story. Let them read you. Let them understand you for days. My therapist took a good 3 days to understand me. And when I was paying those $800 every time, I was feeling कि पैसे तो जा रहे हैं, कुछ बोल तो नहीं रही है. She's not giving me solutions. People go for solutions. They just want to do bakar and solution do मेरे को. ऐसे नहीं होता. They have to study you. You are literally a project for them. They're going to look at you and see your signs and symptoms and understand कि कैसे आपको वो help कर सकते हैं. To give them the time, give yourself the time, give yourself some grace, give yourself a pat on the back, say kudos for going for therapy, for not just giving up just like that. Be honest with yourself, yaar. That's all I can say. This is going to be the entire episode before I blabber more. मेरा ये एक बहुत important, I think it's a very important point I'm putting across. Go to therapy. Even if you feel you're absolutely normal, absolutely okay, there's no problem in your life, go to therapy. You're just talking to somebody. It's fine. It's a paid friend. It's a diary, basically. And that person is going to help you out. It's going to change your perspective. That's something I can promise you. It's going to give you a neutral life perspective कि आप चीज़ों को ऐसे देखते हो, एक्चुअली वो ऐसे है. ये रियलिटी है. ये जो है, ये आपका बना बनाया हुआ स्टोरी है जो आप खुद को बेच रहे हो और दूसरों को बेचने की कोशिश कर रहे हो. So look at it through this lens and then take a call. My therapist used to tell me so many times कि संपूर्णा ये जो तुमने बताया है, this is your assumption. Is this reality? You tell me, is this reality? And I used to say, to me it is. And then she used to show me reasons why it is not. These practices are reasoning exercises. जहाँ पे आप खुद के साथ reason कर रहे हो. What is right, what is not, what is factual, what is assumption. And based on that, धीरे 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 आप आपका angle towards of looking at things को आप change करते हो. It's a beautiful thing. It's a class thing. मैं ये बोल सकती हूँ आपको. And you should give it a try. Until next time, if you liked what I talked about, like, share, comment, subscribe, please. And if you don't, that's okay too. There are a lot of people in my own personal circle who do not believe in therapy, who do not think it's important. But from someone who's experienced it, reaped the benefits of it, and has come out with a better, life, and is enjoying life at this point, I'm going to always advise for therapy. So yeah. Okay. All right. See you next time.